Hi, friends, this is the Movies Recaps. Today, I'm going to explain a psychological thriller film called Before I Go to Sleep, in release year 2014. So watch out and take care. At the beginning of the movie, we see a woman whose bloody eyes are visible. The woman was sleeping with some unknown man. As soon as her eyes open, she has no idea where is and doesn't recognize anything around her. Goes to another room. She sees some pictures on the wall of the room. After that, she comes back to her bedroom. She looks at the man and asks, "Who are you?" Every day, the housewife, Christine, wakes up with a stranger in her bed that explains that he is her husband Ben. He tells her, "Your name is Christine Lucas. You are 40 years old." He tells that you're a car accident 10 years ago. And you brain damage. Since then you don't remember anything. Whatever things you keep in mind till morning, you forget everything. And hugs her and tries to understand. Ben takes Christine to another room. Shows an album of photos. Remembers, "We were married 14 years ago." He leaves the office for his daily work. For a moment, Christine looks at her house in surprise. After some time, he hears the phone ringing. She goes and picks up the phone. Neurologist, named Dr. Nash, is talking on the phone. He asks her to remove his camera or video diary from the cupboard next to the wall of his bathroom. After searching for a while, Christine finds the camera. She watches some clips of her previous day in the camera. The story takes place 2 weeks ago. Dr. Nash comes to pick up Christine at home. They both meet without Ben's permission. Ben doesn't know anything about it. He takes her to his office. Tells that you have psychogenic amnesia, which is being treated by him. He tells Christine that it was not your car accident, but someone attacked you. Dr. Nash shows her his medical report and some newspaper articles. He gives Christine a camera that she can use as a video diary. Dr. Nash says, "Here's the camera you hide from Ben. Here's a deal between me and you." Then Christine come to home. Also she does as Dr. Nash tells her. Whatever Christine did during the day, she records it on her. She hides the camera from Ben in the bottom of her bedroom drawer. The next day, also Christine's routine, and Ben again reminds her of all the things. Ben tells Christine that I go to a nearby school to teach. I am the head of chemistry department. Ben tells Christine that when you wake up in the morning you don't remember anything. Next day, Dr. Nash and Christine were on their way to visit the man. The one who saw Christine in a bloodied condition. He goes to that factory and meets that warehouse caretaker. He says that I do not remember properly, but you met me here in very bad condition. You were wrapped in a bedsheet. Many questions arise in Christine's mind. What did I come here to do? Was I wrapped? Dr. Nash says that according to the police report this did not happen. And there were many more questions, which neither Dr. Nash nor Christine knew. Christine was now slow, losing her trust in Ben. She comes home and records everything that happened today in her video diary. In the night, Christine has a dream in which she sees a hotel and someone wants to kill her. Next day, Dr. Nash shows Christine some photos through the machine, some of which recognize the photo and some do not. Seeing a photo in those photos, Christine gets a little nervous. Then Dr. Nash comes out and tells him that we got some photo here from your file. The photos is of Claire, Christine's best friend. Christine talks to Ben about Claire at dinner. At first Ben lies that I doesn't know Claire. But as soon as Christine puts pressure on him, he says that maybe we met some years ago. Then Ben goes and brings some photos out of his book. Gives it to Christine. And tells about Claire. When Christine asks where is Claire, she says that she left only after your accident. And now maybe in Canada or not know anywhere else. Christine records everything that day in her camera. And Claire's photo appears on the wall of her washroom. When Ben sees those photos, he removes the photo from there. The next day, when Dr. Nash calls Christine to remind of her camera. So Christine watches the clip from her previous day. The pictures are visible in the video clip. But that picture is no longer on the wall. She starts to doubt Ben. And she starts searching for those photos like crazy all over the house. After searching for some time, he finds the key, with which she opens the lock and finds Claire's photo. Christine was looking at Claire's photo. Then she remembers some past. Both of them were having a party when Christine tells Claire that I am pregnant. Then she checks the photos on the wall with surprises. And looks at her belly, the mirror in the bedroom. Then he remembers that I have a son. Christine calls Ben and asks about her son. After repeatedly asking Ben, he tells that he is dead. Ben tells that he was 8 years old when he died due to a dangerous disease. His name was Adam, and he was born on the 4th of August 1999. And brings some pictures of Adam kept in his garage and gives it to Christine. Christine is very sad to see them. The same night he has a dream in which some man attacks him and wants to kill him. There are some cuts on his cheek. When Christine wakes up in the morning and looks at the video clips from the previous day, she remembers Adam again. She starts crying. And she goes to Dr. Nash. She talks to him about Adam. At night, Christine sees a person named Mike in her dream. The man who probably got her into this condition. The next day Dr. Nash comes to pick up Christine by car. And both go somewhere. Christine was talking to Dr. Nash. That's when she gets confused. She starts mistaking Dr. Nash as the Mike in her dream. Because his name is also Dr. Mike Nash. Christine gets very scared and gets out of the car and starts running. Then Dr. Nash injects her and leaves her at home. As soon as Christine regains consciousness at home, he gets a call from Dr. Nash. He tells Christine that because of your delusions, you started seeing Mike in me. He wanted to talk to Christine about Ben. At dinner, Ben asks Christine, who are you talking to on the phone? Christine says don't talk to anyone. The next day, when Christine goes to meet Dr. Nash, he tells you that you had got over me. And he tells to refer Christine to another psychiatrist, but she refuses. Christine knew she was getting better. That's why she didn't want to leave Dr. Nash. He tells about Ben here that in 2007, you were taken to the care center by Ben from the psychiatric hospital. Claire is trying to get in touch with you over and over again. And gives her Claire's phone number. And he also tells that you and Ben are divorced. Christine gives her number to Claire via SMS. Christine goes to school to meet Ben angrily. And talks about her divorce. Then he lies to her. And Christine gets a little furious. The next day Claire gets a phone call telling Christine that I tried hard to meet you. She talks for a while. Christine wants to meet him. Then Claire asks her to come to an address. She is very happy to meet both of them. She starts talking about the past few years. She talks about Adam and Ben in the past. After a while Claire tells about Ben and his relationship. Then Christine gets up from her and starts leaving. Claire wants to stop him but she doesn't listen. Claire gives Christine a letter, which Ben gave to Claire a few years ago. She reads the letter on her way home. Contains all the information about Adam and his divorce. She sympathizes with Ben. In the evening, Christine tells Ben about Dr. Nash and her camera. And all the things she hid from Ben until today. Ben gets angry at him. Says, do you have an affair? Ben licks her. A terrified Christine calls Claire. Claire calls Ben to settle their quarrel. But Ben tells her that he hasn't met Christine for 4 years. Just then Claire asks about Ben's appearance. Christine looks at the photo on the wall. Then he comes to know that these photos have been added. And Christine learns that the man who has been living with her for so many years is not Ben. Christine gets very scared and starts asking Claire for help. Claire asks her where she is but she doesn't know. Christine wants to run away from her house, but the house is locked from inside. Then she finds the key with great difficulty. She wanted to open the lock and run away. But that man had again taken him captive. Christine deletes all previous videos from the camera. The man she was thinking of Ben, and keeps his phone. It started happening to Christine again in the same way that it has happened to her till date. Like Christine every day, Ben gets a phone call after watching his previous day's video diary. Ben tells Christine to go out for the anniversary. Then Ben goes to the hospital. And warns Dr. Nash not to meet Christine. In the evening the man whom Christine was thinking of Ben. He takes Christine to the same hotel. Where the story begins. Ben doesn't take Christine to the hotel because today is their anniversary, but rather to remind them of the past. When Christine looks at the hotel out of the lead, she sees the airport. Ben tells Christine that you remember all the previous things. Then Christine would remember that it was Mike, not Ben, with which Christine had a love affair with him a few years ago. Christine asks Mike about Ben. Then he left saying, but I stayed with you, take care of you. Mike tells Christine that when Ben left you at the care center, I got you rid of fake documents and a fake smile. And says that Ben doesn't care about you. We'll be together, but not as Ben and Christine, but as Mike and Christine. Then Christine remembers the past. In which Mike wants to tell Ben about their relationship, but Christine refuses. So Mike attacks Christine. Christine wants to get out of it, but Mike understands that I will never hurt you. Mike bangs Christine's head in the door. Christine does not agree to Mike's repeated requests. She wants to leave from him. Mike takes his camera and deletes all his photos. And wants to have sex with her. That's when Mike mentions Ben and Adam. Christine had forgotten her son but remembers him again. She wants to run away from him but Mike attacks her. Mike wants to kill Christine. But Christine escaped from the hotel by saving her life? She rings the emergency bell in the hotel and informs the police and ambulance. The police takes Mike with them. And he will be in jail for a long time. Christine is admitted to the hospital. And the next morning someone comes to meet him. He is Dr. Nash. Dr. Mike Nash tells you that tomorrow you will come to pick up your friend Claire. And it also tells that someone has come to meet you. Ben Lucas and your son Adam. Christine Lucas is overjoyed to meet Adam and her husband. That's the end of the movie. This is my explanation in the movie. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help.